Hello, I'm Jacob.
And I'm Bailey.
And we're from One Fish, Two Fish.
Today we're going to be talking about aquascaping. In a previous video we set up this 20-gallon tank, and now we're going to be decorating it and making it look pretty. So the glorious thing about aquascaping is it's like a canvas, so you can really do whatever you like with it, whether that be purple gravel or different types of wood, SpongeBob decorations, all that jazz. It's always good. So in our tank here we use some fluorite black gravel. It's really great. It's a clay-based substrate. It's good for holding the plant roots in there. So we have a variety of different woods and rocks here today that we're going to choose from. So we have some really nice pieces of eucalyptus here, some spiderwood, some Malaysian. There's a really nice piece of shrimp wood, which has some really nice crevices for your shrimp to go in and out of. We have some lava rock, some gold slate, and some beach pebbles. So you can really use a variety of these and it'll make some depth and some difference in the aquarium. It'll look really nice. One thing we're going to talk about today is gluing moss and different types of epiphytes like Java fern and Nubius onto the wood to make it look a little bit more cohesive and complete. So we decided to use the eucalyptus root because it just has a really nice form on it. It's going to be really good for holding the plants that we're looking to put on it. It has a really good look to it. We also have a couple other different woods to show just for options and variety. So we have the spiderwood, which should be really good because it's not going to produce as much tannins. It's going to keep the water a little bit more clear. Tannins are really what the wood puts off. It looks more like a tea color. Sometimes it's beneficial. It looks and recreates a natural environment for the fish. A lot of people don't like it, so they'll try to remove it or they'll try to use woods that do not have tannins naturally in them. Personally, I love the look of tannins because it does give that natural-esque look. The glue we're going to be using today is the bulk resupply glue. You can really use any cyanoacrylate glue that you prefer. Flourish has a couple nice options. You can look into those. If you'd like to know more information about them, you can let us know.
Let's get to gluing.
First, take the tag off. Let's go in the water.
Yeah. And the price tag. Add on too.
Thought it added a nice little touch to it.
$34.99.
So for the plants we're going to be using to stick onto this, we have a couple options. So we have some Java moss, which we have taken out of our systems here, and we have some Java fern, which is a really nice epiphyte. You can glue it directly onto the wood. It actually does not like to be planted directly into the substrate, so a good way to do it is to stick it on a piece of wood or on a decoration. So one very important thing to keep in mind here when you're gluing is to wear gloves, because glue will get all over your hands, and we really do not want to deal with that today. Put on our gloves. Safety first.
The glue can sometimes cause irritation with people with sensitive skin, so that's another important reason to wear the gloves.
Just going to take our glue, we're going to apply it directly to the bottom of it. The glue is fine, we don't want to overload the glue, we just want enough glue that it's going to stick onto the actual piece of wood. So it's all personal preference, how you like to glue it, where you'd like to glue it, what you think looks nice. So I am going to take it and I'm going to put it right here. Just going to hold it there for a minute. Sometimes it's better to do this when the wood's a little bit wet because it'll adhere a little bit better. Cyanoacrylate glue actually, when it's in water, it cures fairly instantly.
One thing to note when you buy plants from stores is to always make sure that you take the ring off of the plant and the foam. Oftentimes, if you leave the ring on to hold the plant down, it can cause issues with root rot and plants can start to die from that. So just take the ring off, take the foam off, and leave the bare roots in place.
The wonderful thing about Java moss too is after you adhere it, it'll eventually just start to grow onto the wood and give a really nice look to it. And just take it over and give it, and make it look like it's a very natural. And make it look very natural. Just gonna randomly place it It's not really a science behind it, just kind of to get it on there. You could do this with all kinds of different moss too. So today we're using Java moss, but there's also spiky moss, flame moss, weeping moss. And this is why we use gloves. I'm gonna rip it up into little pieces. You can also use plants like Bucephalandra. Also with Java moss, it is a very fast grower, so when you plant it, it is just going to kind of explode. So while we're doing this, we are still working, so Jacob just had to pop out and deal with a couple customers, but we're going to continue aquascaping. So I have some Anubias here. To be honest, the name of it kind of slipped my mind, but it is Anubias, I believe, Anubias petite. So this one is going to go just kind of down here, fill in that little gap here. Anubias definitely is one of my favorite plants. It looks really nice. So this is our completed project. It's fairly simple and you can do it yourself at home very easily. It took me about 5 minutes. You can choose from a wide variety of plants, as we mentioned, Java fern, Anubias, Bucephalandra, any type of moss. It's really going to work really well on there. It's just going to stay on there and really thrive. So now comes the fun part. We're actually going to put all of our stuff in the tank and make it look really pretty. So we have our piece of wood that we glued earlier, and then we have a variety of plants, including some Amazon sword, some Hygrophila polysperma, Rosenurvig, say that 5 times fast. And then we have some chain sword, Helanthium tenellum. We're going to put all those together to make an aquascape. See, all these plants are fairly easy to care for. Nothing really needs super special requirements. So we're going to take our piece of wood, and it's really going to be our centerpiece. We're just going to kind of set that in the center. Now, an important thing to note is eucalyptus wood does float when it first goes into water. So a good way to round this would be to put some beach pebbles, which we do have, around it, or just really any rock if you're choosing, as long as it is aquarium safe. We don't want to just put any random rock in there because we don't know if it could have, we don't want to put any rock in there because we don't know if it could be, what's a good word for that?
Contaminated?
Yes. We don't want to just put any rock in there because we don't know if it could be contaminated or it could release things into your aquarium water. It's better to be safe than sorry and to just choose a rock that we know or go to your local aquarium store. Here we do have a wide variety of rocks to choose from, such as slates, beach pebbles, lava rock, all that. These are aquarium safe. We've already gone through them and tested them and all that. So right now I'm just kind of placing the beach pebbles around it to secure it into place, so that way when we fill it up it's not going to just kind of levitate. Although that would look kind of cool, it's not the look we're going for today. Another thing I'm paying attention to is we want it to look like it's natural, so we're trying to just put some gravel over it, fill in the gaps, make it look like it's supposed to be there, not like someone put it there. Okay to change things too. You may not like it when you first put it in. You might have to redo it once or twice or even 3 times to get it the way you want it to. Also, the pebbles just give it a nice look to it and add a little bit of dimension to it. You can also create some caves and stuff for your different fish. You might have some fish that like to hide or like to go into caves. So you can take pieces of slate and different things, put it on it. So now that we have our hardscape in, we're going to plant the rest of our plants. So we're going to start with our swords. I'm just going to kind of put them in the back here, because they are more of a background plant. They are a taller plant, so they're going to kind of take up some of that back of the tank, and that way we don't see just the glass in the back, because that's not the most visually appealing thing. We're going to take the taller plants in the back, shorter plants in the middle, and then we have some middle ground plants too, which are kind of in the middle ground. So we're going to take our chain swords next, and just kind of plant them kind of around in a grid format. Nothing super specific, but just kind of around so it's not all bunched together. This is going to act like a nice grassy foreground. Also, these are a very easy foreground plants. They don't require any CO2 or anything special like that. Next, we're going to go in with our hygrophila. So this is a stem plant. So a great thing about stem plants is you can kind of trim them wherever you want them to be. So if you only want it to be this height, you can just trim it down, and then you have a new plant. So it's kind of a twofer. I'm going to plant them kind of in the middle towards the back. I mean, we can deal with the height of them later on. Another thing to mention is it's a lot easier to plant your plants before you add the water in, so that way you're not planting them and then they're coming up, and it's just can be a real hassle. So I always dry plant my tanks. It makes life easy. Now that the tank's done and scaped, we are now on to the final step.
Putting the water in. So there's a few ways to put water in a tank. I know it sounds crazy. You can either just put the hose in, let it fill, pour it with a bucket, but that can make a mess. So what can happen when the water comes in, it starts stirring up all this substrate and makes the water really cloudy. So a really simple trick to prevent that is to use something like a container lid or a dinner plate or a bowl, anything like that, and you just set it down on top of the substrate, just like that, and you use that to fill the tank. When you're putting your water in, you hold that there, the hose there, and let the water hit that so the tank fills up.
Cue water.
Cue water. Go slow.
And as you'll see when you first fill up the tank, it's not going to be crystal clear, because you are putting just plain water in there. It hasn't been cycled or anything yet.
One of our favorite things to do at this store is flood. So we're going to make sure we turn the water off. It's very important before you flood the water, and it happens more than you think.
It just cleans the floors.
Yeah.
That's all.
Like and subscribe for more if you want to hear more flood stories.
Now that the tank's all filled up, we are going to put the lid back on and turn the light on so we can see what's going on the inside.
So now that the light's on, you can see what the tank looks like. Most tanks will look like this when you first fill them up. This nice cloudy haze in there. That's usually just the dust from the substrate. For example, with fluorite, if you don't do a quick rinse of it, this will happen. It's not harmful, it doesn't hurt the fish, but it can take 24 hours or so to kind of settle and come out of the water.
One thing that's going to help too is us just turning the filter on and letting it run for a few hours. That would clear up most of it. Jacob's going to demonstrate that.
So with these filters, they have the pump in the tank, so you don't have to prime them to get them started. So priming is actually taking water from the tank and pouring it into the back of the filter before you plug it in.
If you want to see more videos like this, like and subscribe and hit the notification down below.
You can find us on Facebook at One Fish Two Fish or on our website at onefishtwofishdartmouth.com.